Yesterday, Epcot caught on fire at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And I made a video about that. And in that video, I talked about how everyone just assumes that Disneyland or Disney World is this happy, magical place full of smiles and wonder. But that's not really the case. Don't get me wrong. The employees there are always nice, or the cast members, that's what they call them. They are always nice, nicer than just about anywhere you go. And I've never had a bad experience with an employee at Disney World. However, the people that are there attending the park, you would think that they would be having a blast, the time of their life, but often they are miserable. You look around you, everyone is hot, sweaty, aggravated. The kids have fun at first when they have their burst of energy, but before you know it, they're asking to be carried, pushed around in strollers. The lines for everything are so long. It can be a very frustrating, intense situation, packed crowds, but you can have fun at Disney. You just gotta know how to do it. You gotta plan things the right way. And often people come into Disney and it's like getting hit by a train. There's just so much stuff going on at once and you really just can't focus. Now me, I don't live too far away. I've been there enough to know how to do Disney. So when I go to Disney, I'm relaxing as chaos breaks out around me. And you see families arguing and fighting and crying babies and all types of stuff. But anyways, yesterday I made a video covering the fire that happened at Epcot, and I started looking into some other Disney-related stories, and I came across a story that recently happened involving Disneyland, and let's just say I wish I never came across this story, because now I am somewhat traumatized. Apparently, a mother and a son, they had just been to Disneyland for 3 days. They had a great trip. Everything seemed to be going normal. They spent 3 days at Disneyland and then they went back to their hotel. And that's when the unthinkable happened. I don't know what caused this mother to snap. I don't know if it was Disneyland, the frustrations of being there for 3 days on end. I don't know what is going on with this woman. We have very little information about her. I don't know many background details when it comes to this woman right now. But after having a 3-day Disneyland vacation with her son, she takes her son back to the hotel room. And I don't even think I can say what she did here on YouTube. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I can't say the words. But basically, she takes her son back to the hotel room after this Disneyland trip and his throat. Then proceeds to shank him multiple times. And then I guess she ingests some substances, trying to take herself out too. It doesn't work. And eventually she calls 911 and she tells them exactly what she did to her kid. When police arrive on the scene, she still has blood on her hands. And they go into the hotel room and they find her kid lying there, surrounded by Disneyland souvenirs that they just bought during their 3-day Disneyland vacation. I've seen a lot of horrible things. We've talked about a lot of horrible things, but man, this is up there with some of the most heinous stuff I've seen or I've heard of. And like I said, we don't got much information about this woman. We don't got many background details. So I don't know how pre-planned this was, premeditated. I don't know if something happened and this woman just snapped, or she planned on doing this. And I don't know which option is worse. Because imagine being someone that's having a nice vacation with your son and you just snap. And something like this happens. Thinking about that is crazy. It's horrific. But also thinking about the fact that maybe during this 3-day vacation, as they rode the rides, they went on the Haunted Mansion. It's a small world after all. When they did the whole Disneyland experience, maybe she already knew in her mind how the trip was going to end. I don't know. What we do know is that she was in a custody battle with the father of her child. What we do know is on the day that she was supposed to return her child, she called 911 and told them what she had just done. So I don't want to jump to conclusions here. I'm going to wait for things to play out. But it looks like there's a possibility here that maybe she had this planned. I don't know. But let's go ahead and roll some news clips. Let's find out a little bit more. Then I'll be back with more thoughts.
Mother charged with murder in the death of her 11-year-old son. She's denied bail. This happened in a Santa Ana motel. Police say Saritha Amaraju killed the boy after a 3-day trip to Disneyland during a custody visit. On Wednesday morning, prosecutors say she called 911 admitting to throat and attempting. Officers found the boy dead among souvenirs.
She has blood in her hands. Blood in her hands.
Amaraju faces one felony murder charge and could get 26 years to life if convicted. Her next court date is set for April 17th.
An 11-year-old boy is stabbed and killed inside a Santa Ana hotel room. His own mother now accused in the death.
Police say the boy's mother is the one who called 911 to report the stabbing. KTLA's Alina Bobian live in Santa Ana tonight. Alina.
Micah, Cher, just an absolute tragedy here. And the woman, the mother of the 11-year-old boy, she admitted to taking some sort of substance and then stabbing her 11-year-old son to death.
Anger. I don't know how someone could do that to their child.
A heartbreaking and shocking discovery here at the La Quinta Inn in Santa Ana. An 11-year-old boy stabbed to death by his own mother. Alyssa Witherall is staying at the hotel with her family in the room directly beneath the boy and his mom.
We heard, the banging and someone hit the wall and it sounded like something hit the floor really hard. And we heard like a short yell, but that was it. So we just thought, because kids yell, they get in trouble, whatever. So it stopped. So that's why we were like, oh, that's fine. Everything's okay.
But everything wasn't okay. Around 9:25 this morning, the mother of the 11-year-old boy called 911, saying she had ingested some sort of substance and killed her son.
When our officers arrived, they take the suspect, who is the mother of the 11-year-old, into custody without incident. She tells officers that she had ingested something, so she was quickly taken to the hospital where she remains in custody, and she's currently in stable condition.
In the room, officers discovered a knife and the lifeless body of the boy on the bed with multiple stab wounds.
The suspect is a 48-year-old woman from Irvine. The 11-year-old boy and his mom were it appears to be staying at this hotel in and out for the last couple weeks.
Sky 5 video shows officers and detectives canvassing the room. They say the mother and boy were staying here alone.
I would do that for my child, not to my child. That's crazy to me.
Now, according to Santa Ana police, the mother and the 11-year-old boy, they have not yet been identified. We also don't know the motive in this case. Was it the substance that she admitted to taking, or was there a history of child abuse? We're told that they are seeking a warrant for the residents in Irvine and also waiting for the toxicology report.
We could all sit here wasting our time asking the same question we always ask when we see a story like this one. How could someone ever do something like this? How could someone do something so sick, evil, and twisted? But the reality is, and the conclusion that I had to come to is, that there's no sense in asking this question. Because people like me and people like you will never find the answer. No answer would ever be good enough. Imagine if you asked that question, how could someone do something like this? And someone approached you with an answer. You know what I mean? Like, hey, stay away from me. But you know what I mean? There's no appropriate answer there. There is no answer there. The only answer is that evil exists. Sick, evil people exist, and they're amongst us, and sometimes they're the people you will least expect. And I know for a fact that kid, after spending 3 days at Disneyland, I would imagine, let me not say I know for a fact, I would imagine the last thing that kid had on their mind was that something like this would happen. 11 years old, already in a tough situation, you know, being that age during a split up. His mom and his dad, they're not getting along, they're not together anymore, they're kind of battling over custody, probably not seeing his mom as much as he used to, or not seeing his dad as much as he used to. The family dynamic is gone. And it appears that his mother was trying to make up for things by having this Disneyland trip, bought him all of these souvenirs, all of these toys, and then takes him back to the hotel room and does what she did. It's unimaginable. And like I said, you could ask the question 1,000 times. There is no appropriate answer. There is no answer. But one thing I do know for sure is that it seems like there's a lot more sick people around us than there used to be. I think that's safe to say. Isn't it? Isn't it safe to say that I think there's more crazy people around us than there used to be? And there's all of these horrible things constantly happening, unimaginable things, like this story right here. And when it comes to this case, what really hit me the most was seeing the memorial that people put up outside of the hotel. It really hit me that sometimes you get more love and more compassion from total strangers than you do your own family. Seeing total strangers that didn't know this kid, they didn't even know this kid existed until they saw the news about what his mother did to him. And total strangers are going out of their way to show up and show some love, to show some care, to show some compassion. The love and care and compassion that his mother should have had for him, but she obviously didn't have for him. You know, it really hits you that sometimes your family ain't your family. Sometimes your family is the family you make along the way, the family you create. Sometimes the people who are supposed to have your back the most are really your worst enemies. And in this case, this unsuspecting kid, after having a blast, 11 years old at Disneyland, you're getting everything you want, for it to be ended like this, it's too disgusting and despicable for me to even attempt to really put it in words. You know what I mean? Like some things you could try to express yourself and just really say how you feel, but words cannot describe how disgusting this is. And I hope that they hit this woman with the book. She does not deserve to see the light of day ever again. I don't think anything could be done to her that would be worse than what she did to her own child. But the real judgment for her will come when she's no longer here. Hopefully she goes to hell in a handbasket and burns for all of eternity. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.